Something is wrong. You don't know what it is yet. But somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet voice is already searching for it. It's scanning your relationships, your finances, your health, your future. And the moment it finds something, anything, it locks on. That's not anxiety. That's not weakness. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is, it was designed for a world that no longer exists. Picture yourself walking through tall grass. Not a park, not a trail. The kind of grass that moves when something moves through it. The kind that hides things. Your heart rate climbs before you even see anything. Your palms go damp, your eyes narrow, and then nothing, just wind. But your brain didn't care that it was nothing. It already ran the full simulation. It already imagined the worst, and that simulation, that mental rehearsal of disaster, is the reason your ancestors survived and you exist today. Researchers call this negativity bias. It's one of the most studied phenomena in cognitive psychology. Rick Hanson, a neuropsychologist at UC Berkeley, describes it simply: your brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. Bad sticks, good slides off, and it's not random, it's a feature. Think about what a mistake meant 50,000 years ago. You misjudge a predator, you're dead. You trust the wrong person, your food is stolen, your children are at risk, your survival is compromised. One bad decision could end your entire genetic line. But if you imagined the worst-case scenario first, if your brain always ran the danger simulation before the safe one, you survived. You ate, you reproduced, you passed that brain on to your children. The ancestors who assumed everything was fine didn't last long. So your brain learned to catastrophize. It learned to run worst case first, always, every time. The neuroscience behind this is striking. Studies by John Cacioppo at the University of Chicago showed that the human brain responds more strongly, more quickly, and with more neural activity to negative stimuli than to equivalent positive ones. Show someone a photo of a spider and a photo of a flower at the same exposure time. The brain registers the spider faster, always the spider first. This isn't a glitch in your wiring. It's the oldest survival algorithm on Earth. But here's where it gets complicated. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a physical threat and a social one. It cannot distinguish between the rustle in the grass and the unanswered text message. It cannot separate the shadow of a predator from the memory of something someone said to you 3 weeks ago that you're still replaying. To your nervous system, embarrassment and danger feel identical. Uncertainty and threat register the same way. Your body doesn't know you're sitting safely in a chair. It knows something is unresolved. And unresolved, in the ancient language your brain speaks, means dangerous. This is why you replay arguments at 2 a.m. This is why you rehearse conversations before they happen. This is why you read a room the moment you walk into it, scanning faces for signs of coldness or disapproval. You are running the same threat detection software your ancestors ran while walking through that tall grass. It just has nothing to kill anymore. So it kills your peace instead. Researchers at Cornell University conducted a study tracking the accuracy of people's worst-case predictions. Participants were asked to write down their most feared future events, the outcomes they were most convinced would destroy them. 85% of the things they feared never happened. Of the 15% that did occur, 79% of participants reported they were able to handle it better than they had imagined. That means roughly 97% of what your brain flags as catastrophic is either wrong or survivable. And yet, the brain keeps flagging. It keeps running the simulation. Why? Because the cost of a false alarm is nothing. You imagine the worst. It doesn't happen. You feel relief. Momentarily uncomfortable, but alive. The cost of missing a real threat, however, was everything. So, natural selection built a brain that would rather be wrong 1,000 times than miss the one time that mattered. You are the descendant of the most anxious survivors in history. Now pause on that for a moment. Because the thing that makes your mind race at night, the thing that loops and spirals and pulls you back to the same dark possibility over and over, that thing is ancient. It is not a flaw in your character. It is a flaw in the mismatch between your ancient hardware and your modern world. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize-winning psychologist, spent decades studying how humans think about risk. His research found that loss feels approximately twice as powerful as equivalent gain. Losing $20 produces roughly twice the emotional impact of gaining $20. Your brain weights disaster more heavily, not because you're irrational, but because disaster was historically more consequential. This is called loss aversion, and it shapes almost every decision you make without you realizing it. You don't send the email because you're imagining the rejection. You don't take the risk because your brain has already simulated the failure. You rehearse the worst ending before the story even begins. And the strange thing is, that rehearsal feels like wisdom. It feels like prudence. It feels like you're being realistic. But what you're actually doing is living inside a future that doesn't exist yet and paying an emotional price for something that may never arrive. Your brain creates what psychologists call the mental simulation loop. You imagine the scenario triggers a stress response. The stress response feels real. Your body releases cortisol as if the threat were happening now. Your thinking narrows, your attention fixates, and now you are genuinely suffering. Not because of anything that has happened, but because of a story your brain wrote about something that might happen. And the more you try to stop thinking about it, the louder it gets. Psychologist Daniel Wegner at Harvard demonstrated this in what became known as the white bear experiment. He told participants one simple thing: do not think about a white bear. What happened? The white bear was all they could think about. Thought suppression doesn't work. Trying to not think about the worst case doesn't silence it, it amplifies it. Your brain treats the suppressed thought as unresolved, and unresolved is dangerous. So it keeps surfacing it, keeps flagging it, keeps running the simulation, because in the ancient logic of your nervous system, the only way to stop worrying about a threat is to either eliminate it or fully process it. This is also why writing your fears down works. It's not therapy magic. It's your brain receiving a signal that the threat has been acknowledged, processed, and stored. The loop closes. Briefly. But here is the deepest part of this. The catastrophizing isn't just about fear. It's about control. When you imagine the worst-case scenario in detail, you feel, for a moment, like you have seen it coming. Like you have prepared. Your brain isn't just afraid of bad things happening. It's afraid of being surprised by them. Surprise and danger were once the same word in your nervous system's vocabulary. So you pre-suffer. You grieve things that haven't been lost. You brace for endings before they begin. You imagine losing people while you still have them. You rehearse failures before you've even tried. And all of this, every anxious loop, every 3 a.m. spiral, every disaster simulation your mind runs uninvited, is your ancient brain trying to protect you. It just doesn't know that you already made it. You are not in the grass anymore. You are not surrounded by predators. The threats your brain was built to detect are mostly gone. But the detector is still running, still scanning, still firing, still finding something. Because a brain that finds nothing to worry about is a brain that stopped doing its job. The next time your mind starts running toward the worst-case scenario, you can know what's actually happening. Not a breakdown, not weakness, not irrationality, just an ancient engine running in a modern world, doing exactly what it was built to do. It kept your ancestors alive through 100,000 years of real danger. And tonight, when it wakes you up at 2 a.m. to rehearse a conversation that may never happen, that's the same engine running the same software, scanning for the same predator that is no longer in the grass. The grass is gone, but the brain remembers it.